After years of speculation, gospel singer Donnie McClurkin, now 65, has finally confirmed the awful rumors about his past and struggles with faith and identity. How have these challenges impacted people's views of him today? Join us as we unravel the details of this revelation.
Young men, I have advice for the parents.
Amen.
Because the only thing that can happen arise what parents allow it to happen.
Controversies and the battle for identity and faith. In 2001, Donnie McClurkin assumed the role of senior pastor at Perfecting Faith Church located in Freeport, New York. This appointment was facilitated by his mentor, Pastor Marvin Winans, and Donnie accepted the position with the aspiration of providing healing and guidance to those in need. He remains in this leadership role to the present day. Nevertheless, upon entering this significant position, Donnie acknowledged that he was grappling with personal challenges, particularly a prolonged and arduous journey concerning his identity. Donnie openly shared that he had contended with gay feelings for more than 2 decades. Although he believed he had triumphed over these emotions, he confessed that the temptations persisted. In an interview with Cross Rhythms, he articulated that divine deliverance does not necessarily eliminate the recurrence of temptations. This realization became integral to his ministry as he leveraged his experiences to resonate with others enduring similar battles. However, he soon recognized that progress was fraught with difficulty, as past issues often re-emerged unexpectedly. While Donnie preached about transcending his past, he occasionally encountered skepticism and opposition from others. His determination was tested, yet he found that surrounding himself with a network of supportive individuals was crucial for maintaining his focus. He emphasized the significance of accountability, asserting that those who are vulnerable should rely on him for support. This perspective underscored his awareness that despite his role as a preacher, he remained human, susceptible to challenges, and in need of assistance to uphold his strength.
So we have to make sure that we are the parents that keep our hands on our children and the leash in our hands concerning how far they go.
In the same year, Donnie published a memoir and released a documentary that provided an in-depth exploration of his life experiences. He candidly addressed the trauma of his childhood and his ongoing struggles with identity, utilizing his painful past as a means to achieve personal closure. Donnie expressed criticism regarding the church's treatment of LGBTQ individuals, highlighting the detrimental impact of leaders who employed severe and damaging rhetoric rather than embodying the love of Christ. He remarked that they hadn't portrayed the love of Jesus Christ, emphasizing his conviction that compassion should be the cornerstone of ministry. Despite his advocacy for empathy, Donnie's perspectives ignited significant controversy. He emerged as a notable figure within the ex-gay movement, frequently likening gay to substance dependence. He contended that being gay was integral to God's design, intended to draw individuals closer to Him through transformation. Such assertions provoked outrage among many, including members of the LGBTQ community and some of Donnie's past associates. A former partner even came forward with claims that raised questions about Donnie's authenticity. In early 2001, a man reached out to blogger Clay Kane with an unexpected narrative. He recounted an encounter with Donnie backstage at a gospel concert where they exchanged contact details and began a correspondence via phone and email. The man reported that Donnie confided in him about feelings of loneliness during his travels for music, even revealing moments of solitude that led him to tears in hotel rooms. As their discussions progressed, they reportedly became more intimate. The man claimed that their interactions were often fraught with discomfort, noting that Donnie had a preference for specific roles and enjoyed being submissive. Despite these uneasy experiences, the two maintained intermittent communication for several years, from 2001 to 2004, before their relationship ultimately concluded. These disclosures further fueled discussions regarding Donnie's genuineness, particularly as he continued to vocalize his opposition to gayism. Donnie consistently expressed his beliefs despite facing increasing criticism. In November 2009, he delivered a passionate address at a church convention, asserting that without Jesus, he would have identified as gay. This statement elicited both support and backlash, underscoring the division his opinions fostered within the church and the wider community.
I didn't know how to have the relationship.
The controversy intensified later that year when gospel artist Tonex publicly came out as gay. In response, Donnie condemned Tonex, labeling gayism as a perversion and attributing the issue to both societal and ecclesiastical failures. His remarks ignited fervent reactions, with some endorsing his position while others accused him of fostering harm and intolerance. During a sermon at the annual Holy Convocation, Donnie made an even more provocative assertion, likening gays to vampires. This comment generated significant debate, with some audience members expressing approval while others questioned the implications of such rhetoric. In 2011, at another Church of God in Christ convention, Donnie reiterated his stance, characterizing gayism as a perversion of the youth in the church and suggesting that the lack of paternal figures contributed to young people's challenges regarding their identity. These statements provoked strong responses, particularly within Black churches, where discussions of biological identity often intersect with deeply entrenched cultural and religious values. The audience's reactions ranged from enthusiastic cheers to emotional tears, reflecting the profound impact of the topic. Despite these controversies, his struggles were far from over. In fact, the most surprising aspect was that his challenges did not begin in his youth. They started at a very young age. Donnie McClurkin's painful past. On May 29, 1933, Olivia Jenkins, at the tender age of 13, gave birth to her daughter, Frances. The circumstances surrounding Frances's birth were profoundly tragic, as her biological father was, in fact, Olivia's stepfather. Unbeknownst to her, Frances was raised under a veil of deception. Her family constructed a narrative in which her grandmother was portrayed as her mother, while Olivia was depicted as her older sister. This carefully maintained illusion persisted until Frances reached the age of 16, at which point she uncovered the painful truth. The revelation was devastating, leaving her heartbroken and struggling to come to terms with the trauma of her origins. Nevertheless, Frances eventually found love and married Donald McClurkin, and together they welcomed their son, Donnie McClurkin, into the world on November 9, 1959. In a revealing interview with Praise 102.5, Donnie shared insights into how his mother's troubled past shaped her life. Frances channeled her love, strength, and aspirations into her children, teaching them to sing and fostering their musical abilities as a means of cultivating joy and purpose. Among his siblings, Donnie believed he possessed the finest voice, a talent that would later become a defining aspect of his identity. Although Donnie's father was physically present in their home, his emotional detachment created a significant void. Donnie characterized his father as aloof, lacking in expressions of encouragement or affection. This absence of warmth profoundly affected Donnie, instilling in him a longing for validation that remained unfulfilled. Tragedy struck when Donnie was merely 8 years old. His 2-year-old brother, eager to emulate him, ran into the street and was tragically hit by a speeding vehicle. The young boy did not survive, and the ensuing grief devastated their family. In her overwhelming sorrow, Donnie's mother directed her anguish towards him, accusing him of causing her son's death and demanding that he be removed from her presence. The words lingered in Donnie's mind for many years, compounding the significant emotional weight he already bore. The guilt associated with his brother's death became an ever-present specter in his existence. This tragedy intensified the fractures within their family unit. Donnie's father succumbed to heavy drinking, while his mother resorted to substance misuse, resulting in a chaotic home environment. For young Donnie, it seemed as though his world was disintegrating. In 1969, a church service marked a pivotal moment in Donnie's life. The minister delivered a sermon on Christ's sacrifice and his boundless love for humanity. For the first time, Donnie contemplated the possibility that God could assist him in navigating the profound pain and confusion that enveloped him. That day, he resolved to dedicate his life to Jesus. The church emerged as his sanctuary, a space where he discovered solace and acceptance.
Troubles of this generation, but we don't understand that we are standing on the brink, on the very brink of a move that God prophesied through Joel.
In an interview with Ebony magazine, Donnie expressed that the church was the sole environment in which he felt a genuine sense of belonging. Nevertheless, the church's sanctuary could not erase the traumatic events he had faced. On the day of his brother's funeral, another devastating incident occurred. At just 8 years old, Donnie was subjected to harm by his great-uncle. He recounted to Ebony that an 8-year-old mind cannot handle such levels of perversion. This experience intensified the pain, anger, and confusion he was already struggling to comprehend. In a discussion with Praise 102.5, Donnie contemplated the enduring effects of childhood trauma. He remarked that when one experiences a break, they remain trapped in that moment. The emotional scars from his early years continued to influence his life long after the events had transpired. Research from the Mayo Clinic indicates that the repercussions of childhood trauma can persist for decades, adversely affecting mental health, emotional stability, and even neurological development. But how was Donnie able to rise to fame as a gospel singer despite these overwhelming challenges? Overcoming struggles to become a gospel legend. Donnie McClurkin's life has been marked by significant challenges. At the age of 13, he faced a particularly traumatic event when he was exploited by a relative, an experience that left deep emotional scars and prompted him to question his identity. This incident sowed seeds of confusion and uncertainty, leading Donnie to contemplate his intimate orientation, a notion he found difficult to reconcile. In response, he turned to prayer, determined not to allow this experience to dictate his sense of self. Despite the turmoil within, he opted for silence, choosing to keep his struggles private and redirecting his focus toward other pursuits. Instead of addressing the difficulties within his family, including the divorce of his parents, Donnie sought refuge in two primary sources: the church and music. The church served as a sanctuary for him, providing an escape from the tumultuous environment and offering solace in a world fraught with challenges. Music emerged as both his passion and his calling. By this stage, Donnie had already demonstrated exceptional skill on the piano and began to form musical ensembles such as the McClurkin Singers and the New York Restoration Choir. The latter achieved an early milestone in 1975 with the release of their album I See a World, which marked the beginning of his promising musical journey. In 1983, while collaborating with a church choir, Donnie encountered Pastor Marvin Winans, a meeting that would significantly alter the course of his life. Pastor Winans extended an invitation for Donnie to come to Detroit to assist in establishing a ministry. 6 years later, in 1989, Donnie made the pivotal choice to move to Detroit, where he took on the role of associate minister at Perfecting Church. There, he dedicated himself to ministry work while also touring and performing at churches across the country. In 1996, the release of Donnie McClurkin's debut album, titled Donnie McClurkin, marked a significant achievement in his music career as it attained gold status. The album included the popular track Stand, which quickly garnered widespread acclaim and resonated profoundly with audiences. The endorsement from Oprah Winfrey further propelled the album's success, elevating McClurkin into the limelight and establishing his reputation within the gospel music sphere. By 2000, McClurkin's song We Fall Down emerged as a gospel anthem, dominating radio stations and receiving extensive recognition. His compelling vocal delivery and touching lyrics struck a chord with listeners, both through his musical performances and his sermons. The song's popularity facilitated collaborations with esteemed producers such as Bill Maxwell, Mark Kibble, and Andre Crouch. McClurkin's career continued to flourish with the release of his 2000 album Live in London and More, which approached double platinum status, and his 2005 Grammy Award-winning album Psalms, Hymns and Spiritual Songs, which reached the top of the Billboard charts. His 2009 album We All Are One, Live in Detroit also achieved significant commercial success, further demonstrating his remarkable artistry and ability to engage with audiences. The 2014 release of his album Duets signified a new phase in McClurkin's career. Featuring collaborations with gospel luminaries such as Erica and Tina Campbell, Fred Hammond, John P. Key, and Tremaine Hawkins, the album debuted at number 4 on the Gospel Billboard charts, underscoring McClurkin's dedication to honoring his fellow artists while delivering meaningful, faith-driven music. In 2016, Donnie released his 7th solo album, The Journey, which achieved the remarkable feat of debuting at No. 1 on the Billboard Top Gospel Albums chart. This album featured live renditions of beloved classics such as Speak to My Heart and Great Is Your Mercy, showcasing his persistent ability to uplift audiences through his musical artistry. His subsequent album, A Different Song, released in 2019, debuted at number 2, further solidifying his status as a prominent figure in the gospel music genre. Donnie's impact transcends the realm of music. His performances frequently incorporate songs in various languages, including Japanese, Spanish, Russian, and Dutch, illustrating his commitment to a global mission of disseminating the gospel. In 2009, he initiated the television series Perfecting Your Faith and made appearances on programs such as Good Morning America and The View. Additionally, he has acted in films like The Gospel and The Fighting Temptations, where he portrayed roles that resonate with his identity as a pastor and a man of faith. His influence in radio also expanded as he launched a syndicated show in collaboration with TNT Creative and Dial Global, which was broadcast from a mobile recording studio located within his church. Despite his considerable achievements, Donnie remains deeply rooted in his faith, continuing to inspire millions through his music and spreading messages of hope and healing. Navigating personal struggles and fatherhood, Donnie McClurkin's life, despite his public persona as a musician and preacher, was marked by significant personal challenges. He grappled with profound issues, particularly regarding his biological identity. In a candid address, he revealed that he had misinterpreted certain childhood experiences experiences, mistakenly linking them to his intimate orientation. In his writings, he articulated this internal struggle, expressing feelings of being broken and believing that gayism was incompatible with God's intentions for him. The year 2000 marked a pivotal moment in Donnie's life with the birth of his son, Matthew, whom he had with Kim, a woman with whom he never entered into marriage. This event provided Donnie with a newfound sense of masculinity and purpose that he had long sought. Subsequently, he made the decision to adopt a 9-year-old girl named Michelle, a choice that elicited mixed reactions from the public. For some, including skeptics, it seemed questionable for a single man facing significant personal dilemmas to take on the responsibility of raising 2 children. Was it indeed the appropriate moment for Donnie to expand his family while still confronting his issues? At times, Donnie appeared to reflect on this decision with uncertainty. He candidly shared that the difficulties of his upbringing influenced his parenting approach with Matthew. In an interview on TBN's Praise the Lord, he acknowledged that their relationship had been strained for several years. While he ensured Matthew's financial needs were met, Donnie admitted to falling short in providing the emotional support that his son required, a realization that weighed heavily on his conscience. He reflected on his morning prayers during this period, which encapsulated both his anxieties and aspirations. Donnie expressed that each morning he would look towards God in prayer, seeking assistance, admitting his fears, and expressing his desire to be a good father. These sincere prayers underscored the profound difficulties he faced in fulfilling his parental duties. The challenge of reconciling his personal struggles with the responsibilities of raising a child proved to be formidable. In spite of his endeavors, Donnie's experiences as a parent underscore the intricate nature of his journey. He was a man striving to overcome his past, engage with his faith, and nurture his children, all while being observed by the public. His candidness regarding these difficulties provides insight into the human experience behind the public persona, serving as a heartfelt reminder that even those who motivate us contend with their challenges. What tragedies did Donnie face? How was he able to get through the controversies his belief brought? Personal tragedy and criticisms. The year 2013 proved to be exceptionally challenging for Donnie McClurkin, characterized by significant personal bereavement and professional obstacles. He experienced the profound loss of both parents, plunging him into deep sorrow. Concurrently, his career faced notable difficulties. His controversial remarks regarding the LGBTQ community resulted in his disinvitation from the March on Washington Memorial concert that year. This incident underscored the increasing repercussions of his candid opinions on his public image and professional trajectory. Donnie's perspective on LGBTQ matters continued to generate considerable scrutiny and backlash. In 2015, following the Supreme Court's ruling in favor of marriage equality, he publicly expressed his dissent. He did not shy away from articulating his views, labeling the ruling as sinful and encouraging his followers to resist what he perceived as a violation of biblical principles. He asserted that his disagreement with the Supreme Court's decision did not necessitate perfection in his character, emphasizing his belief in the truth of biblical teachings. His statements incited significant outrage, with detractors accusing him of exhibiting judgmental and intolerant attitudes. In spite of the criticism, Donnie remained steadfast in his convictions, directly addressing his opponents. He posed a rhetorical question regarding their fate should they die unexpectedly, underscoring his dedication to conveying what he interpreted as biblical truth. For him, the essence of his message was not rooted in animosity or discrimination, but rather in what he viewed as spiritual responsibility. Nevertheless, his resolute position did little to bridge the widening chasm between him and the LGBTQ community. The ongoing controversy surrounding Donnie's beliefs resulted in further professional repercussions. Ironically, he also faced the withdrawal of his invitation to perform at a civil rights rally. Many observers found it paradoxical that a man who had previously identified as gay and now spoke openly about his transformation was facing consequences for sharing his personal narrative. The situation raised concerns regarding whether Donnie's narrative posed a risk to advocates of LGBTQ rights. Some individuals questioned if his assertion that change was achievable undermined their foundational beliefs, rendering his presence excessively contentious. The discord between Donnie's convictions and public events was not unprecedented. In 2007, during Barack Obama's presidential campaign, Donnie was invited to perform at a rally in Charleston, South Carolina, aimed at attracting religious voters in the southern region. However, his remarks during the event incited significant backlash. Addressing the audience, Donnie responded to allegations of being anti-gay, asserting that he was labeled a bigot. He emphasized that he did not endorse discrimination, but highlighted a facet of Jesus Christ that pertains to judgment, asserting that all sin is an affront to God. He proceeded to share his personal journey, proclaiming that he had been liberated from gayism. These assertions, which implied that gayism was a choice and could be surmounted, provoked outrage among many within the LGBTQ community and their supporters. The ensuing controversy placed Obama's campaign in a precarious position as he endeavored to reconcile the need to appeal to religious constituents with his commitment to inclusion and equality. In response, Obama's team swiftly distanced the candidate from Donnie's perspectives, affirming that Obama advocated for equal treatment for all individuals, irrespective of intimate orientation. Consequently, Donnie was prohibited from participating in future campaign events. This episode highlighted the complexities of addressing such polarizing issues within a politically charged atmosphere. Donnie's shifting perspectives on LGBTQ matters contributed to the ambiguity of his public image. He occasionally condemned religious leaders for their severe language directed at the gay community, promoting a message of love and empathy. Conversely, he emerged as a prominent adversary of gayism, frequently characterizing it as a spiritual obstacle to be surmounted. This inconsistency perplexed many observers. How could an individual who previously advocated for compassion later adopt such a vehemently critical stance? Donnie McClurkin and Nicole C. Mullen's engagement. In August 2016, the gospel music scene was abuzz with surprising developments. During an episode of the Praise the Lord talk show, host Matt Crouch made a revelation that caught many off guard. He announced that Donnie McClurkin, a prominent gospel artist and pastor, was engaged to fellow gospel singer Nicole C. Mullen. This unexpected news generated a wave of excitement and intrigue among viewers. Compounding the moment, Donnie was a guest on the show that evening, heightening anticipation for his reaction. And when the focus shifted to Donnie, he did not refute the announcement. Rather, he acknowledged that marriage was the one element missing from his life. He conveyed that he was flourishing in various aspects, financially, spiritually, and emotionally, but felt a sense of incompleteness without a partner to share his life with. He stated, "Marriage is the final step to make my family whole." However, his remarks raised eyebrows, as some questioned how he could discuss completing his family without referencing his children, leaving many in a state of confusion. In response to the unfolding situation, Nicole took to Twitter shortly thereafter to provide clarification. In her message, she indicated that she and Donnie were dating, but not officially engaged. She recognized that marriage could be a possibility in the future, but stressed that they were still navigating significant steps before making such a commitment. Nicole also pointed out that Donnie had yet to meet her father, underscoring the considerable groundwork that remained before any wedding plans could be considered. She assured her followers that they were proceeding thoughtfully with the intention of establishing a strong foundation for their relationship. The public's enthusiasm surrounding their journey was palpable. However, it soon became apparent that the path they were on was fraught with complexities. Subsequently, Donnie took to social media to elaborate on their circumstances. He revealed that he and Nicole were participating in counseling sessions in preparation for marriage. It remains ambiguous whether this was a sincere attempt to solidify their relationship or merely a rationale to confront existing uncertainties. Yet it was clear that they were approaching the situation with caution. They seemed intent on avoiding a hasty commitment to marriage without adequate readiness. Nevertheless, despite their intentions, the relationship between Donnie and Nicole ultimately faltered. By December 2020, Nicole had moved on and entered into a marriage with another individual, and this new partner was characterized as tall, dark, and handsome, indicating that Nicole had discovered happiness in a different relationship. For her, this represented a new beginning, an opportunity to embrace love in a fresh chapter of her life. In contrast, the conclusion of their relationship left Donnie with lingering questions. While some observers may have speculated about the reasons for their lack of progression, others accepted the reality that not all relationships are destined to endure. Nicole's choice to advance and seek joy with another person underscored her resilience and her commitment to prioritizing her happiness. Although this outcome may not have aligned with the expectations of many fans, it served as a heartfelt reminder that life often diverges from our anticipated trajectories. However, after a series of events that shook his life, Donnie underwent a massive transformation. What were these events that led to this change? Let's find out. Donnie McClurkin's remarkable transformation. Donnie McClurkin's life narrative is marked by a series of significant and often contentious events, some of which have inspired many, while others have sparked considerable debate. A particularly notable episode in his life was his affiliation with Exodus International, an organization infamous for advocating the discredited method of conversion therapy. This organization asserted that it could alter individuals' intimate orientations through prayer and therapeutic interventions, a mission that drew widespread criticism for being both harmful and fundamentally misguided. McClurkin actively supported this contentious initiative, contributing writings to the Exodus International website. In these contributions, he recounted his personal journey of transformation, expressing his belief that he had been saved and had become the individual he felt was intended by God. At that time, his connection to the organization resonated with his public views on gayism, which had already ignited intense discussions. However, what initially appeared to be a fervent dedication to his convictions ultimately took a troubling turn. In 2018, a Twitter user emerged with a grave allegation, claiming that Donnie's mother had sent them to Exodus International for therapy during the 1990s. They recounted experiences of exploitation by the organization's leaders while there. This accusation was both heartbreaking and shocking, revealing the potential for significant harm associated with such practices. Furthermore, the individual disclosed that when they informed their parents about the harm, they faced rejection and were ostracized by the very organization that was supposed to provide support. This revelation contributed to the mounting criticisms directed at Exodus International and highlighted the enduring trauma linked to conversion therapy. The dissolution of Exodus International occurred in 2013, marking the end of its 37-year tenure. The organization permanently ceased operations and issued a public apology to the LGBTQ+ community, acknowledging the significant flaws in their methods and the pain they had inflicted. They expressed regret for promoting judgment within the Christian community, a gesture that many perceived as a long-awaited acknowledgement of their past missteps. For Donnie, this represented a pivotal moment of reflection. Although he had distanced himself from the organization prior to its closure, his previous affiliation with Exodus continued to be a source of controversy for numerous individuals. In December 2018, another crucial event transpired in Donnie's life. This time a deeply personal and potentially fatal incident. While driving on the highway, he unexpectedly lost consciousness, causing his vehicle to veer off the road and crash. Fortunately, he sustained injuries that, while serious, could have been much worse. He was promptly transported to the hospital, where medical professionals treated a sprained wrist, a damaged knee, and lacerations on his left thumb that required stitches. Despite the gravity of the incident, Donnie's injuries were relatively minor in comparison to the potential consequences. This incident served as a stark reminder of life's fragility. In contemplating this accident, one might envision a straightforward nurse informing Donnie that he was well enough to be discharged, as his injuries, though painful, did not necessitate an extended hospital stay. However, such a lighthearted scenario does not diminish the seriousness of the event. For Donnie, the crash served as a heartfelt reminder of the unpredictability of life and the necessity of cultivating gratitude. The sequence of occurrences, his fluctuating engagement with Exodus, the public disputes, and his life-threatening experience illustrates the intricate nature of Donnie McClurkin's existence. This narrative encompasses themes of faith, struggle, and perseverance, imparting insights regarding the significance of forgiveness and the bravery required to confront one's history. Regardless of differing opinions, Donnie's Odyssey remains a catalyst for dialogue and contemplation surrounding faith, human experience, and the concept of redemption. But what was this huge revelation that Donnie made, and what prompted him to reveal it now? Donnie's revelation and journey to self-discovery. In 2021, Donnie McClurkin made a notable return to public attention through his appearance on the television program Uncensored. The interview was profoundly intimate, revealing facets of his romantic life and internal conflicts that had previously remained undisclosed. Donnie disclosed that he had never engaged in a long-term relationship, a revelation that both surprised and saddened many of his admirers. He also shared insights into his past romantic encounters, which included both men and women. More notably, Donnie admitted to still harboring feelings for men, although he opted not to pursue these emotions. This candid disclosure ignited extensive dialogue as many grappled with the intricacies of his decisions. Donnie illustrated his choice to refrain from relationships with men by comparing his feelings to a desire for sugar. He articulated that while he abstained from consuming sugar, it did not imply a lack of desire for it. While some individuals appreciated the transparency of his analogy, others found it perplexing or insufficient. Critics contended that equating his profound emotional experiences to a mere dietary preference trivialized the matter and left numerous questions unresolved. Amidst this discourse, a shared concern emerged among both fans and critics regarding Donnie's well-being. During the interview, he acknowledged the possibility that he might never marry or find a lifelong companion. He expressed the fear of potentially facing solitude, a sentiment that resonated deeply with many of his supporters. One fan remarked on social media that it was heartbreaking to think Donnie might suffer from loneliness just because of his intimate attraction. This heartfelt admission provided insight into Donnie's ongoing struggle to reconcile his faith, personal aspirations, and the expectations imposed by the church. The situation highlighted a more extensive concern regarding the pressure individuals often experience to conceal aspects of their identities in order to conform to stringent religious or societal expectations. Supporters expressed compassion for Donnie, wishing for him to attain peace and fulfillment, irrespective of his romantic inclinations. Conversely, some observers adopted a more critical perspectives. For instance, Auntie Regina posed a reflective inquiry regarding the era when individuals traditionally refrained from intimate relations until marriage. She noted that Donnie's candidness about his previous relationships lacked any reference to upholding conventional values such as abstinence until marriage. In her view, this absence illustrated a transformation in the discourse surrounding relationships and morality, with traditional values seemingly diminishing in contemporary discussions. Donnie McClurkin's candidness underscores the significant impact of his Christian faith on his life decisions. As a committed pastor, he endeavors to adhere to biblical teachings, although this dedication has exacted a personal toll. While some perceive his choice of abstinence as a burdensome sacrifice, others commend his unwavering conviction. McClurkin's narrative resonates profoundly with many, inviting contemplation on themes of identity, love, and spirituality. He is regarded as a figure of resilience by some, while simultaneously raising concerns regarding the treatment of LGBTQ+ individuals within religious contexts for others. Ultimately, McClurkin's journey is a deeply human one, characterized by struggles related to his past, emotions, and faith. His participation in Uncensored did not yield definitive answers, but rather fostered a space for deeper contemplation, serving as a reminder that life is a continuous journey of growth, faith, and self-discovery. So what do you think about Donnie McClurkin's revelation? Let us know in the comments. If you want more interesting revelations, be sure to like, subscribe, and watch the next video shown on your screen. See you there.